Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you spend any time online, maybe in the last, 5 years,
Yeah.
you probably know the feeling.
Oh, yeah, that feeling.
It's
Definitely.
not just being bored or getting distracted. It
Mm.
feels like this genuine, almost bone-deep exhaustion, right?
Mm-hmm. And our sources really zero in on that, the sense that digital life has become this constant barrage. That's the word they use.
A barrage of really intense emotions.
Exactly. Fear, anger, mostly.
hmm
And it feels like it's engineered, designed specifically to keep you glued, to keep you watching.
Yeah, it creates this huge pressure. Like you have to have an opinion right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
have to share the latest outrage, jump into the big online fight.
And it always seems to be framed as us versus them.
Always. And
Yeah.
it sucks up all your mental energy, doesn't it?
It really does. So, okay, that's the landscape. Our focus for this deep dive, then, is exploring what might be the most effective, maybe even radical, act of rebellion against all that noise.
Right. How do you push back?
We're digging into sources that argue something pretty simple, actually, but powerful. That turning inward, specifically through mindful reading, through cultivating your own mind, that's the key.
And what's really interesting is the shift in focus, isn't it?
How so?
Well, instead of trying to fix the internet or, win arguments with strangers online, these sources consistently argue that the best way to fight the darkness out there is actually by building the light inside you
Huh. So moving the battlefield.
completely, from your social media feed right into your own mind, where
Yeah.
you actually have some control.
Okay, I like that framing. But let's unpack that darkness out there first. The outrage machine itself.
You need to, yeah.
We have to be pretty honest about the platforms we're all using. TikTok, X, Instagram,
Yeah.
whatever your flavor is.
They're complicated systems for sure.
But their main goal, unfortunately, isn't really about making us happy or fostering deep connections.
No, sadly not. It's about maximum engagement, constant engagement, clicks, shares, eyeballs on screen,
And the algorithms running these things have learned something. Well, pretty cynical.
which is
That conflict, fear, and anger are just incredibly effective business models. They're super engaging, as one source put it.
think about it. A calm, nuanced post. Maybe it gets a few likes over a day or two,
Right. Slow burn.
but something that's really emotionally charged? An attack on the other side?
Instant reaction.
Yeah.
Clicks, shares, comments flying. Outrage.
That's what the algorithm rewards, that immediate, intense emotional spike.
And it becomes a feedback loop, right?
Yeah.
The more outraged you feel, the more of that kind of content you get shown.
Which makes you angrier, makes you engage more.
And keeps you scrolling.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets kind of dangerous because certain voices, certain brands, they know this works.
Oh, absolutely. They build entire platforms, entire business models around stoking that fear of the other.
Doesn't matter who the other is. Different political party, different country, just people who think differently.
And the cost of that, the real cost to us.
It chips away at empathy, doesn't it? It trains your brain to just sort people instantly, friend or foe.
Yeah. And when you're constantly pushed to see others through that lens, suspicion or even disgust, it becomes incredibly easy to forget there's a complex human being behind whatever label you've just slapped on them.
That kind of environment, that constant division and suspicion, it feels genuinely toxic.
Yeah,
For us internally.
it is.
Deeply.
Okay, so if the external world, the online world, is kind of engineered to pull us apart,
Yeah.
then the answer, like you said, has to be internal.
That seems to be the core message.
And this brings us to that central metaphor we found across the sources, this idea of everyone having like two gardens inside them, side by side.
It's an old metaphor, but it feels incredibly relevant right now, doesn't it?
It really does. So explain the two gardens.
Okay, so first you have the bright garden. This is where you intentionally, consciously cultivate qualities like empathy, compassion, curiosity, creativity, kindness, all those good things.
And spending time there.
Mm.
How does that feel? It makes you feel connected, hopeful, expansive is a good word. Like your world gets bigger, richer.
Okay, and then right next to it, sharing the same soil, you said.
Exactly. Same soil. That's the dark garden. And this is where things like fear, anger, jealousy, selfishness, where they naturally take root.
And it's important, the sources say, to realize this isn't some kind of personal flaw, right?
It's a crucial point. It's just a natural part of the soil of being human. These feelings, these reactions, they're kind of hardwired. They exist.
So the difference isn't whether you have a dark garden. It's what you do about it.
Precisely. How do you tend to it? And there are two main approaches.
Okay.
The traditional one, the one maybe we default to, is suppression, like rigid suppression.
And then to build a big wall around it, pretend it's not there.
Yeah, exactly. Build a wall, deny it exists, and just aggressively try to stomp out every single weed, every negative feeling the second it pops up. Exhausting work.
Right. Sounds tiring just thinking about it.
Yeah.
What's the alternative?
The alternative, and this is really the heart of what we're exploring, is to focus on the bright garden. Cultivate that garden so intensely, so passionately, that it becomes the main event in your inner life.
Okay. So you're not fighting the darkness directly.
Not primarily. The idea is the darkness doesn't vanish because you wage this huge, draining war against it. It recedes, it shrinks, because the light has just grown so bright, so overwhelmingly present.
You're putting all your resources, your time, your attention, your energy into watering the seeds of compassion, curiosity, empathy.
Exactly. And the weeds in the dark garden, they become small and weak, not because you attacked them relentlessly, but because they're basically starved of your focus. You're just not feeding them.
Okay, that makes intuitive sense.
Right.
Wait, hold on. Isn't suppressing anger sometimes, well, necessary, like to function? If someone cuts you off in traffic, I can't just unleash primal rage.
Right, good point. And that's a key nuance the sources make. There's a difference between impulse control and suppression.
Okay, explain.
Impulse control is choosing how you respond to a feeling. You feel the anger, you acknowledge it, but you choose a constructive or at least non-destructive action.
Like taking a deep breath instead of laying on the horn for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Suppression, on the other hand, is trying to deny the feeling ever existed in the first place, pretending you didn't feel angry.
And that's the dangerous part.
That's what the sources warn against, because it's fundamentally dishonest with yourself. And if you wall off that dark side, never look at it, never acknowledge it, the roots of those suppressed feelings, those desires, they just grow stronger in the shadows.
Okay, and eventually, boom.
Eventually, yeah. When you're stressed, when you're vulnerable, those roots can crack the foundation of that wall you built.
Is this like the rebound effect in psychology?
Precisely that. You push something down hard, it tends to spring back even harder, often uncontrollably.
Can you give an example?
Well, there's this concept of ego depletion. You spend all your mental energy, all your willpower, forcing down difficult emotions or denying basic desires. That reserve gets drained. Think about really restrictive diets.
Okay.
The person who uses sheer force of will all day to suppress the desire for sugar.
What happens when they finally crack?
They don't just have one cookie after a stressful day, do they? They eat the whole box because their capacity to choose, to exert control, has been totally exhausted by the suppression itself.
Wow. Okay. And does this apply on a bigger scale too?
Absolutely. Look, historically, societies or really rigid systems that tried to brutally suppress basic human nature, things like desire, aggression, ambition, they didn't usually create peaceful utopias. They often created monsters in hiding. I mean, those natural human drives didn't disappear. They just got twisted. They festered in the shadows and eventually exploded in really destructive ways.
So the takeaway here isn't don't feel angry or don't feel jealous.
Not at all. The key takeaway is that acknowledging your capacity for anger, for darkness, that's actually a strength. It's the first step.
Because it gives you the choice.
Exactly. It gives you the power to choose where you direct your focus, your energy. The goal isn't pretending the dark garden doesn't exist. It's choosing consciously, deliberately, day by day, to live in and tend to the bright garden instead.
Okay. So building the wall fails. The external environment is kind of rigged against us. What does the actual work look like? The active daily work of tending that bright garden.
All right, let's get practical.
We move now into these 3 specific methods the sources highlight for becoming, as they say, an expert gardener of our own minds, and the tool.
Books.
This is the actionable part for you listening. 3 concrete things you can do.
Method 1.
Method 1, read for empathy. And the key here is fiction.
Fiction specifically. Why fiction?
Our sources call it maybe the single greatest antidote to that divisive us versus them thinking that's just everywhere online.
Okay, so what's the actionable step? Be intentional. Deliberately pick up a novel where the main character, the protagonist, is completely different from you.
Different how?
Different culture, different life experience, different political context, different worldview. Just someone whose shoes you wouldn't normally walk in.
And how does that help? What's the mechanism?
It's about stepping directly into another person's consciousness. Psychologists call it building theory of mind. You're not just observing the character from the outside. Through fiction, you get their internal monologue, you feel their anxieties, you understand their justifications, even if you don't agree with them.
Can you give some examples from the sources?
Sure. Think about reading, say, The Kite Runner. You're not just learning facts about life in Afghanistan.
No, you're feeling it, right? The personal heartbreak, the betrayal, the hope for redemption
Yeah,
from inside the character.
exactly. Or a book like Circe. It takes a figure from mythology, often painted as a villain.
And lets you live inside her perspective. Understand her choices, her motivations.
And the real power here is the sustained exposure. You're living inside someone else's head for, say, 300 pages, feeling their joys, their sorrows, their struggles. When you do that, it becomes genuinely impossible to just see them as a label, as the other.
You see their full, complex humanity.
And that process, that sustained immersion, it directly waters the seeds of compassion in your own bright garden. It makes that garden grow.
Okay, that's powerful. Method 1, fiction for empathy. What's method 2?
Method 2 is reading for perspective. And this is where nonfiction comes in.
So if fiction helps us understand others, nonfiction helps us understand the world, ourselves.
Both. Think of nonfiction as the tool shed for your garden. It gives you the knowledge, the frameworks, the understanding you need to cultivate your inner world more effectively.
And the actionable step here, still about choosing intentionally.
Very much so. But here, the goal is to choose books that actively challenge your existing assumptions.
Ooh, okay, so not just reading things that confirm what I already believe.
Definitely not. That's just staying in your echo chamber. This is about stretching your mind, questioning your own biases.
Like what kind of books are we talking about?
Well, classics like Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, reading about his experiences in the Holocaust, it fundamentally shifts how you think about suffering, purpose, finding meaning in the absolute worst circumstances.
Wow, yeah,
Or something like Kahneman's Thinking, Fast and Slow. It literally exposes the hidden biases, the glitches in your own thinking, why you react the way you do, often without realizing it.
That sounds potentially uncomfortable, but important.
Deeply important. These kinds of books provide the sunlight for the garden. They illuminate those hidden corners where your biases lurk. They make you a more critical and hopefully more humble thinker.
Any other examples?
Oh, absolutely. A book like Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer, it blends indigenous wisdom and scientific knowledge.
Right, about our relationship with the planet.
Exactly. It offers this profound view that reframes resource management not as extraction, but as a reciprocal relationship. It expands your whole internal world.
And when your internal world is bigger, richer.
There's less room, less fertile ground for those small, amplified fears that social media thrives on.
Okay, I see the value. But reading something like Thinking Fast and Slow, that sounds kind of dense. If I'm already feeling drained by online noise, isn't that just adding more cognitive load, like homework?
That is such a crucial point, and the sources address this. It's not about volume. It's not about speed reading complex ideas.
What is it about them?
Quality of engagement. If a book is genuinely stretching your mind, you don't need to read 50 pages a day.
Read less.
Maybe just 5 pages, or even 1 paragraph. But then pause, reflect. Let the idea actually sink in, integrate. The goal isn't just consumption. It's transformation.
Okay. Slowing down, being more deliberate.
Exactly. Which leads us perfectly into the third method.
Method 3, let's hear it.
Method 3 is practicing mindful reading itself.
So this isn't just about what you read, but fundamentally how you read it.
Precisely. This is the direct challenge to that constant, shallow, scattershot scrolling culture we're all swimming in.
Okay, how do we do it? What are the steps?
It has to be deliberate. Routine helps. Set aside a specific time, maybe just 15 or 20 minutes every day.
Manageable chunk.
Yes. Make it a sustainable habit. And crucially, put the phone away.
Like in another room away.
Yes, in another room. No notifications, no buzzes, no temptation to just quickly check something. You need a period of actual focused immersion, no distractions allowed.
Create a sanctuary for reading.
You got it. But here's the most important part of this method, the bit that makes it active, not passive.
Okay.
The reflection step. After your 15 or 20 minutes are up, don't just jump back into the noise. Take 60 seconds, just 1 minute.
And do what in that minute?
Get a notebook or open a notes app, whatever works, and just jot down the answer to one simple question.
One question.
Just one. Like, what one idea in this reading really made me think? Or maybe, how did this chapter make me feel and why?
Ah, so you're actively processing it, making it stick.
That's the transformation. It's the difference between, say, mindlessly inhaling a huge meal and getting indigestion, and slowly savoring a small, really nutritious bite, actually letting your body absorb the goodness.
I like that analogy. So writing down that single thought, that one reflection.
That act is consciously tending your inner garden. You're integrating the knowledge, the perspective, the empathy. You're building new mental pathways that are more resilient to that external barrage we talked about.
Okay. So let's try and pull this all together then. The online world, the digital environment, it's often designed, maybe not maliciously, but effectively, to make us reactive, to make us fearful, to keep us divided.
Yeah, that's the reality of the attention economy.
And this is the hopeful part, we're not just passive victims of this, right? We have agency, we have a choice. And the wisest path, maybe the most effective path, according to these sources, isn't necessarily fighting the noise head on.
No, it's choosing to cultivate the light within ourselves, using these tools, intentional reading, mindful reflection,
Focusing your energy on building empathy through fiction.
and gaining perspective through nonfiction.
You effectively starve that dark garden. You minimize the pull of the external negativity.
Exactly. Without exhausting yourself in a fight, you probably can't win anyway. You're just nurturing something better, something more beautiful and resilient right inside your own mind.
So here's our final challenge to you listening right now. When this deep dive finishes, maybe not immediately, but today, turn off the noise for just 20 minutes. Just 20.
Put the phone down. Step away from the screen.
Go to your bookshelves or your library app or wherever you find books. Pick up something that makes you curious.
Genuinely curious. About someone else's world, maybe? Or about the weird and wonderful ways your own mind works.
Read for those 20 minutes,
Oh.
and then take that one extra minute. Just 60 seconds.
Ask yourself, what one idea stood out? How did this make me feel? Jot it down.
Water your garden. Tend to that inner space.
And maybe just remember this, above all else, you really do have the ultimate power to choose what you cultivate inside yourself. The seeds are there, curiosity, compassion, understanding. They're always present, just waiting for your deliberate attention.
So what kind of internal world could you choose to grow? Something to think about.